Our guest today, Les Daenzer, was born and raised on a dairy farm in Michigan. From an early age, he wanted to be a teacher. His inspiration was his first elementary teacher in Emmanuel Lutheran School. After attending Lutheran schools, he graduated from a Lutheran teacher college in 1969. His first teaching assignment was a class of 33 third graders, a lot of threes there, 33 third graders in a suburb of Chicago. Since then, he has worked as a teacher in New York, at a St. Paul Lutheran school, at a St. John Lutheran school, at a Trinity Lutheran school, and then he got his master's degree in school administration in 1985, and he became a teacher principal at Anchorage Lutheran School in Anchorage, Alaska. Then became a site administrator at a school. Boy, I don't even know how to pronounce all these names here. NWEF.
You pronounce it NWEF.
There we go, in Alaska. And then in Kwethluk, is that how you say that?
Kwethluk.
Okay, I tell you what, you tell us the other spots, because I don't know how to pronounce all these places. But basically spent a career, an entire lifetime serving in education, the vast majority, almost all of it, between New York. We'll start in Chicago, then in New York State, and then almost 30 years. Well, yeah, almost 30 years in Alaska. And so, wow. So your experience is a little different from many I interview, Les, and you've invested so much time, and also because you spent time in Alaska. So I want to tap into your experience, learn a little more about where you're based and what you can share about your experience, districts you served, some of the geographic areas, population, constituency, and on and on.
13 years now since I've been retired and out of the classroom, or away from the books, I guess. My experience in Lutheran schools were all very positive. For some reason, going to school, I never really wanted to be a principal. My job and my thought was to work with kids, be a teacher, period. That was it. I didn't think I was principal material, and probably some people along the line also agreed with me. I probably didn't think I was principal material, but anyhow, that's not what God had intended. The direction went a little bit differently. I started out, my first teaching experience was as an intern for 1 year. Our system had a process where you could teach for a year before you graduated. So your last year in college meant an awful lot, because you had a year under your belt already, and you knew what it was like. So you came back a totally different person with that 1 year experience, and that first year of 33 third graders. And I remember that because it's an easy number now to remember. But I still remember some of the kids, some of the names. Often wonder where they're at, but Schaumburg, Illinois was the fastest growing community at that time. And St. Peter was a fast growing Lutheran school. I went back in, I think it was 85. I left there in 68. I think it was. My year was 67, 68. Went back in 89. It was totally different. A big growing building plan going on. But anyhow, that was a terrific learning experience. 33 third graders, anxious, and from that point on, that was my favorite year, my favorite grade to teach. Learning a lot. I learned as much as they Being grown up in Lutheran schools, I guess I really never knew any other experience. And my first foray into the public system was when I got my master's. That's the first time I attended a public institution. And when I went to Alaska in 80, or went out to the villages in 88, that was my first experience in the public system in that case. But involved in the Lutheran schools, you could do what you were trained to do, and you had your experience and your impact was not only educational, but it was religious, it was personal, it was all around. Whatever contact you had, whatever influence you had on the child was not just learning how to read or write or whatever. It was learning how to live, and character building. And that was the motivation. So, and those were good years, were fantastic years. Always some ups and downs, but you always knew at the end of the year that you had some impact. You caused growth to happen in a wide area and not just in academics.